And now, your hosts of the Card Subject to Change podcast, the For Frequency's Sake Tag Team Champions of the World, the Wizard CZ, and Never Wrong, Nick Bull.
Hello, one and all. Welcome back to another exciting episode of the Card Subject to Change podcast, the podcast by the fan, for the fan. I am, of course, your host, Never Wrong, Nick Bull. Joining me, as always, is my tag team partner, co-champs of the For Frequency's Sake Network, the Wizard CZ. Wiz, how you doing?
I'm feeling real good. We're gonna have a little Midas touch and get golden on this episode. I'm really excited for that.
This episode is as good as gold, as CZ mentioned. Our special guest this week is known as the 55-Minute Man. He's also known as the crown jewel of those damn Coyotes. And just as the title says, he is good as gold. He is Dreamwave Wrestling, as we know him for, coming fresh off a win over Bobby Orlando last night at their 9th anniversary show. Please welcome to the show the one, the only, Connor Hopkins. Connor, how you doing?
I am doing great, gentlemen. Thank you for having me. It's like I was mentioned to you before the show, it's been a long weekend, but it's been a really great one.
Well, hopefully we cap it off here with all good vibes here. We're so happy to have you. And as soon as we booked you, man, I got pumped. And I'm like, I got a great picture of him when he won the Good as Gold Rumble. We're going to use that for the promo. I can't wait, but we're glad to have you here. I'm going to start off the show, Connor, by asking you what I ask every other guest. You're a professional wrestler. You obviously love wrestling. What got you hooked on pro wrestling? Why pro wrestling?
I don't know what it particularly was. I think it was, a lot of different factors. But ultimately, I was a theater kid growing up, and I also was into, I did sports and stuff too, and I liked both of those things. And I loved comic books growing up and video games, and was just a very creative and definitely ADHD kid. Just, I don't know, wrestling, it found that little nook or cranny in my head and just kind of wiggled its way in there and never really left. It was just, there were so many things that it was I didn't know was possible to put together in one thing.
Talk about your growing up. Who are some of the people that you watched and gravitated towards as you started your journey in professional wrestling?
Definitely guys like CM Punk, Alex Shelley, AJ Styles was a huge one for me growing up. But also I loved Edge and Christian and the Hardy Boys, and I think a lot of people that were on the more, I guess what you would call new age style. I was just always particularly drawn to them. In 2014, I kind of had fallen out with wrestling and got back into it, whatever. And Bryan Danielson, or at that time, Daniel Bryan.
Right.
That was a really cool time to be a wrestling fan.
Right around the WrestleMania 30 time, when it's kind of a grassroots effort where the fans took over and voiced their opinion. And, the rest is history, as he closed out WrestleMania 30, beating Batista and Randy Orton. But we're glad to have Connor Hopkins here on the Card Subject Change podcast by the fan, for the fan. You are part of a very dynamic group. We know you from Dreamwave Wrestling, but you're, of course, involved with other indies as well. Talk about the formation of those damn Coyotes, how it came to be, and the makeup of the group. It's a pretty unique group, and I like how you guys gel together.
All right. Well, thank you, man. I appreciate that. And actually, I was hoping you were going to ask about that, because I just want to see something. Hey, Damian Does Chain, do you want to be on this podcast real quick?
Hello.
All right.
Hey.
All right.
Coyote.
So they were asking about the formation of those damn Coyotes. Oh, hey, wait a minute. Hey, Dreamwave champion Christian Rose. Come here.
Well, we're having a run-in of. We're having all kinds of run-ins today.
It's just like a wrestling show. They're taking over. They are taking over the show.
What are we doing?
Yeah, brother.
There he is, the Dreamwave champ.
Let's talk about the formation of those damn Coyotes. How did it happen? In your own words, my sweet summer child, Christian Rose.
I'm not super involved in the formation, to be perfectly honest.
Yeah, you weren't even actually.
Yeah.
So
Nobody remembers this. There's the forgotten original one.
Yeah. So he wasn't even
We
in
had
the
to
group
upgrade.
originally. And then we had another guy, and then
He got injured and got out of wrestling.
we found this one.
If I recall correctly, it was basically the four of us were in a car and basically like, yeah, we're trying this show together. We only want to work with each other.
I remember there
We
was
should
a
just
group
be a
chat
group.
that I was in, so I was aware of the group's existence, but
Yeah.
I wasn't a part of that show.
Right.
So
But yeah, we all just like travel together all the time, and we all hang out together. Obviously, we're having a little bit of a Sunday fun day.
Am I allowed to drink on this show?
I think so.
Absolutely. Absolutely. You're the champ. You can do what you want.
Hey, thanks.
So yeah, I don't know. It's just kind of a genuine thing, you know.
Yeah, dude. BRB.
Who came up with the name? I got to know who came up with the name.
That was me.
Okay.
That was me. Well, I mean,
was it a light bulb moment, or how did it come?
you know, so Rose was calling himself
Old Evil Bad Coyote.
Yeah.
Old Evil Bad Coyote. And so because we're all students of Rose's,
Eh.
Sure.
so we all were just kind of
I
like
know
the
that
Coyotes.
those damn coyotes was your idea. I know that was yours.
That's on a recorded medium, by the way.
No, that you're actually getting,
And a visual medium for the first time ever.
Yeah.
you're actually getting it right for once, because I was doing the coyote thing because my idea was, if the Christian Rose character was an animal, what would he be? And that was what I came up with. And hey, also other wrestlers, you should try that. Think about that. Like,
Yeah.
if your wrestling character was an animal, what animal would it be? Ask yourself that question. See what you come up with. So that's why I started doing it. And then we started traveling together and getting bookings together and wanted to be in a group. So that's where it came from. But I know that you came up with the idea of those damn coyotes. But
Yeah.
That's awesome. That's awesome. I don't usually do this, but Christian, since you're here, I'm going to give everybody who's watching the show a little bit of a preview. You're going to be featured on the show in just a few weeks here, and we're excited to have you on. So you and I were talking this morning about your match last night. So
yeah, feel good.
As those damn Coyotes, what is it like stepping through that curtain and knowing everybody in the building came there to see you and they hate you? It's got to be one of the coolest feelings around.
Best job I ever had.
Yeah.
Yeah, man.
Connor, what do you feel when you walk through that curtain and just the spies raining down on you?
Hungover most of the time. No, I don't know. It just, for me, it's such a natural, or it feels like such a natural thing to just ease into when you're just like, you think about it all the time and you just really like, I don't know, there's a certain stride that you just kind of take on as you walk through the curtain. I don't know how to describe it other than you just become someone else.
That's a good way to put it.
Yeah, I can see that. So I want to touch on last night's match a little bit. You and Bobby Orlando, you brought your own little friend to the ring because Bobby has his goat, Bobby Jr. Talk about what it's like. The commentary team called it the very first interspecies match. That just pops me a little bit. What were your thoughts going into that match and the outcome of that, or the whole thing? It just was a fun match to watch.
So actually, the entirety of the credit for the whole Berna the Third thing goes to the illustrious, the lovely, the wonderful Meg, our studio intern here at our podcast. She, when the match got announced, she was like, "Oh, Bobby Orlando has a goat. You need a coyote." And so, like, I mean, we've been sitting on this for months now. Our creative team worked very hard at those Coyotes. And so, yeah, dressed him up in a little bandana. I put him in the briefcase, and I knew I came to that match prepared for shenanigans and chicanery.
We definitely got it.
You referenced that briefcase, the briefcase you won from the Good as Gold Rumble. Let's go back to that night where you went 55 minutes. You were number one, first one in the ring. We sat front row and watched you win that thing. Talk about that match and just the endurance you had to get through the whole thing, 55 minutes. Cards were stacked against you at times. You had the cards on your side at one time. But most important, you walked out there with that briefcase. Talk about how much that match meant to you and how much it's changed your future.
Yeah, no, you're absolutely right. I did have superhuman endurance and just elite level athleticism, and above all else, just a superior intellect, really, is what it comes down to. You know, I have 2 college degrees, so it's really not hard for me to strategize big matches like these.
And the durability to withstand the world's largest Bronco Buster and still come out on top.
Still
Yes.
unscathed. To be viciously attacked by both Mike Bennett and Black Machismo at the same time, which is something that, frankly, I never thought that I would say.
Yeah, I know the crowd popped. The crowd popped real hard for Black Machismo. There were some very, very cool interactions between you and Black Machismo in that match. And you talked about him and Mike Bennett taking it to you. I want to know when you tossed over Vic Capri to win that Good as Gold Rumble, what were your immediate thoughts, your reactions?
Well, for some reason, I just fully fell on my back. But I was just like, holy shit, we got there. Like, we did it. I was amazed at how like energized I still felt, but that immediately stopped as soon as the match was over. I was a wreck for the rest of the night. But yeah, it felt really cool.
The Good as Gold briefcase, insurance policy or savings investment? What is it?
It's definitely an insurance policy just to make sure that the belt always stays within those damn Coyotes.
Would Christian Rose agree with that?
Yeah.
Okay.
You don't think there'll be any tension when you finally cash in that briefcase then?
Well, no, I would never cash in on Rose, like, obviously.
Well, I'm not suggesting that by any means, but if Rose were to somehow lose the title and you gain it via cash in, there going to be any tension there about you being the champion over Mr. Christian Rose?
I don't think so. I think,
if I may.
Yeah, go ahead.
If title.
Yeah,
there's
exactly.
tag titles.
Exactly.
There's other things. There's other options. You ever entertain that idea?
Yeah. Come on now,
That's
guys.
fair.
I like that line of thinking. I do.
I do
You get
too.
newly crowned tag team champs, the Hype, last night after their ladder match.
The last time I checked, we had the Hype beat the last time we had him in the ring too. So,
You did. You lay claim. Maybe you guys lay claim to the number one contendership.
You know what? That don't sound like a bad idea to me.
I'm all for it.
You've got alternative champion Mustafa Ali that you could cash that in on as well.
Oh yeah, wouldn't that be something? I could say that I beat Mustafa Ali.
That's a feather in the cap right there. That's even better than being good as gold, in my opinion.
Mm-hmm. That's being, yeah. Oh yeah.
So Connor, obviously Dreamwave is a big place for you here. A lot of investment, a lot of emotion. Talk about some of the other places you've wrestled and just kind of the feel. Do you get a different feel at different promotions, different venues? Or I guess the best question to ask, what is your favorite place to go?
Oh man, when you start talking about like favorites and stuff like that, it gets really hard for me to answer. But what I will say is, I think I mean, I always say it is one of my favorite places to go, but Time Bomb Pro, Fargo, North Dakota. They run at a venue called the Sanctuary in Fargo. It's this awesome event center. The Fargo crowd is always spectacular, so they make that venue just great. It does, of course, help that I am the Sanctuary champion at Time Bomb Pro. So, I feel like I gotta rep the venue a little bit,
And I